What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Bell Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is In Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
It's radio from a woman's perspective with Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo, and I'm Angelique. We're spending Christmas with LaTocha from Escape. She's got a solo project called This Christmas Wrapped with Love. And yes, we're going to talk about the fallout from that reality show too. So what's up for Christmas for you?
Oh, I'm going to go away for a couple of days. Just need to go away. The holidays are always a good time because Hollywood shuts down, even though Hollywood has been shut down.
For real.
But,
I don't know what you need a break from. Sitting in the house.
I think this is the calm before the storm. So I'm getting myself together. I'm going to enjoy the holidays with my boyfriend. We just will go off somewhere and have, some nice little time. And, come back refreshed. I mean, that's all I'm going to do. What about you, Yo-Yo? What are you doing for Christmas?
Christmas is my mother's birthday. She is a loyal Capricorn. She is that mountain goat that sits high and looks low. So she wants all of the parties that she's given everybody, all of the gifts she's given you throughout the years. She wants it back in return. So we're going to celebrate Mama Mia with the spicy meatballs. Yeah, I'm not buying any gifts because I told all of my nieces and nephews and kids that whatever they got me through the year, I was going to give them back. Nobody got me anything. And this is going to be the best Christmas ever. You get nothing.
What about you, Angie? What are you doing?
I'll be in New York with my crazy family. Just, all of us sitting on the couch watching bootleg movies. They do it. I just, I'm there for the family time. But yeah, they be bootlegging the movies.
Well, as a bootleg movie, which one would you go look at? Which one would you just peek in?
Well, we're gonna talk about the movies because there are
Barbie.
Plenty. There's some really good holiday movies. If you want to sit around with your family or if you're gonna be with your boo, Eddie Murphy and Tracy Ellis Ross has a movie on Prime Video called Candy Cane Lane. And it's an original comedy, fantasy Christmas movie where Murphy plays a man named Chris who is dead set on winning the annual neighborhood Christmas decoration contest. And it's just a cute, fun movie that I think is great for the whole family. Then next we have the most anticipated movie, I think. It's going to be released Christmas Day, The Color Purple. It's the retelling of the classic story by Alice Walker, and it turned into a screenplay, turned into a musical, then turned into a movie directed by Steven Spielberg, and now it's a movie musical. The storyline of the movie is still the beloved tale of a Southern Black woman facing oppression and seeking independence in the early 1900s. However, this time it's adapted from the musical version of the story. So it's a mix of the movie that Steven Spielberg directed and the musical that was on Broadway.
Fantasia kills it.
She plays, I'm like, Fantasia plays Celie. It's been directed by Steven Spielberg, and Quincy Jones is the producer. Oprah Winfrey is also a producer. It also stars Taraji P. Henson, Danielle Brooks, Coleman Domingo, Corey Hawkins, her, and Haley Bailey. But it should be a really good, are you going to go see it, Angelique? I know you are. You like musicals.
I already saw it, and the music was fine. Like I said, Fantasia in one song, this is a bunch of industry people too, and industry people don't get excited about anything. After one of those songs Fantasia did, folks were clapping like crazy, and a lot of them were white people. So,
well, can I tell you, I saw her on Broadway. And there was a point where she was singing one song and it was like with no music, it totally a cappella. And the feeling, the energy that Fantasia gives, this is her moment. This is her time. I am so happy out of everybody, all of the performances, I'm sure are going to be great. All the women are great. But I just needed Fantasia to have this moment.
Yeah.
in this time. And so I'm really happy for her. And so if I go see it, I'm going to see it for her. So
It's hard. It's hard to watch though, just like the original, just like the book. My mom always said, I'm not going to see any of The Color Purples because the book was hard enough to read.
It's a
So
hard
it's
book.
very difficult in places. But I think in the end it's worth it.
Yeah, in the end it's redemption, you know.
On the way, LaTocha with a Christmas wrapped in love. Cafe Mocha, Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo, I'm Angelique on the line, R&B/gospel singer LaTocha. How are you? Happy holidays.
I'm good. Yes, happy holidays to you girls. Thank you.
Now, how does it feel after, filming that reality show on Bravo to now have this wonderful Christmas album?
Ooh, well, this year was tough, but to be honest, through all of the turbulence, it kind of inspired me to continue to write and just use my gift in that way and create this album because I was very mindful of what was important, and it was just the gift of love and being able to uplift people instead of tearing them down. So I use my voice in that way. And this album, I could say, is truly made out of love. So it's therapeutic for me and all about love.
When you say it was very hard for you, Tasha, what do you mean?
When you go through life and you know that you're a public figure, and sometimes you're still human. It's like sometimes you see where people point fingers, and sadly it is to say in our culture, we are more entertained by nonsense and disruptive and people being destroyed instead of lifting them up. And so for me, it was really hard to see myself and my family go through some things in this industry when that's not who we are. And people have formed opinions about it, and people don't even have to know you. A lot of people stopped liking me from the TV show, to be honest. And they were like, oh, I heard this, or I saw her face look in a certain way, and they don't even know me. So it was very hard to continue the path that I'm doing, doing music by hearing what people were saying. And it's hard sometimes to block out the noise. Like I said, it was a lot of turbulence.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the turbulence and you saying, people perception of you not being exactly what you thought it would be. What have you learned from that? Did you take anything from it? Was it, did it mature you or make you stronger? Tell me about that.
It definitely made me stronger. I think it made me learn to love myself even more. I think that's one of the biggest flexes is loving yourself. And it also allowed me to understand that, when you see things on television, everything is not what it seems. Just being in that situation and seeing how people really are, just learning who you are too, because a lot of times you go through things and we do that not for ourselves, but to be a light for somebody else. If I didn't get through that and I didn't understand who God was in my life, and I didn't understand that family was important, if I didn't get who my real friends were in those turbulent times, it would have made me a different person. But I learned who I was even in that space, and being able to come out of that and add light for young women who will probably go through far greater things that I have, and being a light for them is what I'm learning to do, getting through with God and just being a vessel.
What would you change about yourself? I know we talk about what they did wrong and how people perceived you, but did you ever look at yourself and say, I want to change this about myself?
Yes, I did. I said I wanted to communicate more. The way that I hold things in as an individual, this comes from just growing up the way that I grew up. A lot of times I was not very vocal about how I really felt, or if somebody said something, or if I felt a way about somebody. I never was very vocal about it. And so I've learned now to be, communicate better and communicate more about my feelings or how I see things. It's like I've always been the type of person that'd be like, oh, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to go on and move. And that doesn't always work. And I'm learning that even in my relationship, with my husband and in business, you have to speak. You have to speak about how you feel or how you've dealt with other people. Maybe they felt a certain way to see how they feel about things. So, yeah, I can say I've dived more so into that part of me.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line, LaTocha. We're talking about her and her new Christmas album. LaTocha, the holidays can always be stressful. You got to deal with family. You got to deal with friends. And I understand where you've been, because I've been there too, when you're talking about especially fans and people online talking about, they don't like you. They have this perception. What I've learned is that sometimes you got to let the process play itself out. I am a testament to that. And what I love about what you're doing is you're still moving, you're still progressing with this new Christmas album. It's called This Christmas Wrapped with Love. This will be your second album released this year after your first debut solo album titled An Invitation, a Conversation with God. Now, you said that the album is set to spread love, joy, and peace during the holiday season. Let's talk about the love and joy and peace. And what's one of your favorite songs on the album?
All of them are very heartfelt. I can't say I have a favorite, but I will say one that kind of sticks out to me, and it is called Coming Home. It is called Coming Home. And a lot of us, you have family members who, like a couple of my family members have been deployed, and I know with them going to be missing their families this holiday season. So writing songs that are reflective of that. And also there's another song on there, If the World Could See. And I delve into, just the line is, a better you, a better me equals peace. Can you see it? Like if it's a better me, a better you, that equals peace. So it's a couple of things in these songs where it's very heartfelt for me, but I don't really have a favorite. I think the whole thing is wrapped with love. And I think everybody's going to take a song on there that, that they relate to.
But yeah, and you have some favorites too, because you have the traditional Joy to the World, Silent Night, Holy Night, which is a stunning song. I mean, your vocals on that was just really awesome. So I wanted to compliment you on that. But let's talk about
7 songs on there.
Let's talk about the cover, okay? The cover from your new album, This Christmas Wrapped with Love. It is hot, girl. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. When you're kind of branching out on your own, you want to continue to be classy at the same time. Even with Christmas time, you want to have a little sexiness in it. So I really had fun doing this photo shoot. It was red. It was all in love. And I was able to tell them how I really wanted to see myself in the picture. I had like the Christmas hat on and I was having a good time, to be honest. So I was able to kind of be creative in that space, and it felt good. I mean, I feel good when I look at the picture. So thank you.
It looks good. It looks awesome.
And you sound amazing. You sound amazing.
Thank you, guys. Thank y'all. When you sing from your soul, I think it reaches the soul. It really does.
It does.
And I love you for that. Yo-Yo,
you were the one that, even when in the midst of everything, you would always kind of text and be like, "What's up, Queen?" And you don't even know that uplifts people as well. So I appreciate you in that space. It wasn't even, you didn't ask no questions. It wasn't nothing, no judgment or anything. You just said, "What's up, Queen?" And then I was like, wow, from one queen to the next. I appreciate that. I just want to say that right now to you.
We're spending Christmas with LaTocha. Her album is called This Christmas Wrapped with Love. I'm curious about some traditions when you were coming up and sort of what inspired you to write this album and to, do the new work and to do some of the old favorites.
Well, growing up in the church, I've always loved Christmas time is my favorite time of year. And when I would be in church, my mother and my father, they were part of the ministry, right? And so they would get up and do these skits and plays, and I would watch them and be just intrigued by how they were able to capture the crowd just by using their gifts. So when Christmas time came, it was always a big thing. And I just vowed, I was like, this Christmas, I'm going to have a Christmas album this year. And I went in and I just kind of took bits and pieces of the times in church, bits and pieces of things that I saw, and then just the love that I'm used to, during the Christmas time, and wanted to make sure that I kind of put all that stuff in my body of work and allow people to understand this is how I grew up. This is what I saw, the joy to the world. Even though I always tell people I never do a song the same way that that you hear it. So when I did Joy to the World, I wanted to TochaTize it. And I know that's not a word, but that's my word. And so I amped it up a little bit. I put a little bit of College Park in there and put myself in that place where I was as a child, but then thinking about, how do you, continue to move music forward and kind of put myself into it. So yeah, that's just what that was with music and Joy to the World and the traditional music, and coming back and just using that in a way that people can still, kind of, embrace that.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line, LaTocha. talking to her about her new holiday album. But I wanted to ask you about your foundation, Made Girl, and what does it
Yeah.
mean to you?
Made Girl is life. Made Girl is where I'm from. Made Girl is loving yourself. Made Girl took me a long time to understand that I was made fearless and I was made to win. So it means a lot of different things to me. And even this walk, I've been doing this 30 years in this business, and I've learned a lot. I've become a student of the game. And as you see me in my walk of life, I talk about my mother, I talk about my grandmother a lot because they were the strength. And so I draw off of that. And it's what made me. What made me strong was the strength of those women. And so when I think of Made Girl, the foundation and what I'm building, and building an academy soon for young girls to come in and be inspired to write music and to understand how, when it comes down to contracts and music itself, and being able to, with etiquette classes and cooking and culinary arts, I just want to bring all the things that have made me who I am to help young women. So the foundation means everything to me, and to sum it all up.
I want to come in there with you and help you with
really
with the culinary and with the working with the young girls. I have the Intelligent Black Women's Coalition. So I would love that. I have my Made Girl gear, and I wear it all the time. But and I think it's such a beautiful thing. People don't realize, Lonnie and Angelique, how artists really don't get a chance to grow into themselves in this industry. And what I love about you, Tosh, is that people can see the growth, go through the challenges with you, and still see you singing like a bright star, doing the things that you have to do, because you've literally grew up in front of everyone's face.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, when we talk about growth, you were nominated for a Grammy. Congratulations. How is that?
Well, thank you. Well, what it is Grammy consideration, and Yo-Yo could probably explain it better, with people that probably don't know. When you're considered, that means that the Recording Academy says, okay, you have this beautiful body of work, and there are labels who have said, I think that she should, win this in this category. So just to be considered for the nomination made me feel like, oh my gosh, and this is my first, solo project. So for them to even say, I think it was 3 or 4 songs that were submitted to be nominated. Just that alone allowed me to know that I still want to dig, harder, go harder in what I love, which is his music. So just for them to be saying, hey, LaTocha, what about LaTocha? I felt like, oh my gosh, I was just honored, to be honest.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line, LaTocha. We're talking about her new holiday album, and we're just talking about her growth. You also received your honorary PhD from Harvard Christian University. What does it feel like, and how can you encourage education?
I was thrilled, for them to even say, listen, we want you to be a part of this alumni, to represent the accomplishments in arts and education. It just sparked me. Like I was talking about earlier, it's like I have more work to do. I have to go out here and continue to build relationships and to allow young women to know that they can do it. We've coming through this industry, like I said, 30 years, you go through a lot. Nothing is given. Everything is earned. And so I feel like I got my PhD then, after that. But just for them to acknowledge me, and I was in the house with a lot of people. There was Carl Anthony Payne. Y'all know Cole from Martin. There was Melba Moore, Christopher Williams, Nelly. So there were a lot of people who got a chance to, get up there, elite people who I look up to. And they were like, can we get pictures? But that whole ordeal allowed me to understand that I have so much more work to do. And I was just thrilled. I really was.
What's your holiday or Christmas wish?
That people would see the importance of family and love and just hold on to that, really, because family is everything.
Thank you so much, LaTocha, for spending some time with us, especially during this special season of Christmas. And those are some wonderful words.
Yes. And forgiveness and love.
Yes. Forgiveness and love, for sure. And I want to say to people that are listening, continue to walk in your purpose. I started a long time ago and wanted just to sing. And then as this industry continued to move along, I found out really who I was, going through the turbulence and the ups and downs. And understanding what business is, because you don't, you know, I was green when I first came in. I just wanted to sing. And I was like, I don't care about the contracts and all that. But when you start to see that people make more, you know, the fruits of your labor was not coming to us. We didn't see it. And I vowed that from that day forward, I wanted to continue to push the needle, and got in there, signed myself to myself, did a joint venture with Motown Capital. And now I can help young women to say that you can do it. You know, it's so far in between when we see, you know, Black women doing big things. And, you know, this is a male dominated industry, and to be able to stand with my head up high and say, you know, I'm just going to continue to be that trailblazer. It's not easy. We go through things. Even you guys probably have your own stories, but to stay focused and to believe in yourself and bet on you. I would tell anybody, bet on you. So many people have prospered from betting on me, so why not bet on myself?
The name of the album is called This Christmas, Wrapped with Love. LaTocha, thank you so much. Make sure you pick it up. Make sure you stream it. Get you some holiday cheer. Thank you so much, LaTocha, for joining us on Cafe Mocha.
Thank you. Oh, thank you all.
Thank you.
Love your strength. Keep going. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa.
Thank y'all. Merry
holidays.
Thank you. All of those things.
Next on Cafe Mocha, Tiffany the Budgetnista has money tips for the new year, even if you're broke.
We're at
Hey, this is Claude Kelly from We Sound Crazy with your Black Music Month Spotlight. Victoria Monet is an American singer and songwriter. As an artist, Monet released a second installment of her Jaguar trilogy, titled Jaguar 2. The album won Best R&B Album and Best Engineered Album Non-Classical at the 66th Grammy Awards, and featured hit singles such as Smoke.
And so I know I want the generation where that music was their prime to appreciate it, but also my generation to find some of the lyrics fun and use them as captions. So I want to have that juxtaposition.
Party Girls, and the RAA certified platinum track, On My Mama.
Hey, it's Angelique here. Walt Disney World Resort is bringing you the culture with music, art, and food. Imagine savoring Princess and the Frog's decadent bread pudding and berry beignets at Disney's Port Orleans Resort. Take in Disney's Animal Kingdom Park's Circle of Life Festival, celebrating the Lion King and more. Walt Disney World Resort is a place where you can come and celebrate with your family, and you can do it soulfully. Bring yourself to Walt Disney World Resort and celebrate the culture.
Cafe Mocha Radio. It's Cafe Mocha.
Cafe Mocha, you may have seen her on the Netflix documentary, Get Smart with Money. Or maybe you have the how-to guides, Get Good with Money or Made Whole. We're talking to our financial advisor, Tiffany the Budgetnista. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome back.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
You know what? In 2021, you made the book Get Good with Money, and that saved a lot of souls. So now this is like an extension, Made Whole. Why do we need this book, Tiffany, and why did you write it?
Well, when I wrote Get Good with Money, it's because I came up with a system called financial wholeness, which is these 10 steps that if you master them, you will be able to be all right no matter what happens. You lose your job, you'll be all right. Inflation is high, you'll be all right. A recession comes, you will be all right. And what I realized is that, you know, people looked at Get Good with Money as this awesome textbook, but a lot of people weren't getting to the work, you know? And so I wanted to create a companion book where there's this workbook. So many people know I used to be a school teacher for over 10 years, and I have my master's in education. So I thought, what if I represented these same 10 steps, budgeting, savings, debt, credit, income, investing, insurance, your financial team, your net worth, and estate planning, these same 10 financial wholeness steps. But with each step, I show you what the step looks like when completed, and then I give you a chance in the book to do the work. So it's like, don't keep reading. Do the work now, because when you do the work now, when you write things down, when you put it into action, then you're more likely to stick with it and see change. And so that's why this book is different.
So this is a workbook. I'm holding it up for Angelique to see. It's an actual workbook, and in it you can actually do the steps, and it's a nice thick, where it's not small. You can actually write in it, so it's sort of like a notebook. Plus, this is genius. I really do like this. Like here, you can do it. So I love that part. Tiffany, what made you come up with this concept?
Because so many people came to me, and there's so many people who teach online. They teach about kind of like getting rich quick, or, how to make $1 into $1 million. And I thought, well, there might be 0.01% people that might happen for, and great for them. But what happens to everybody else? What happens to those who are teachers and nurses and stay-at-home moms? And so if you don't make your million bajillion dollars, so what does that mean for your life? Does that mean that you don't get to enjoy safety and security and vacation? What does that mean? And so there were too many people that I helped, so many women in particular. My audience is largely Black women. I've helped nearly 2 million women in the last 15 years. And most of them are just regular, everyday women who are brilliant and smart and who needed guidance to how to live their normal financial life. And so I was like, I'm going to create something that can help them. And the textbook version of Made Whole, Get Good with Money, sold nearly 300,000 copies in its first 2 years. So what it told me was there's a need for this. And so I'm like, oh no, we're gonna dig deeper with Made Whole.
I love that.
Cafe Mocha, we're talking to Tiffany, the Budgetnista. I feel like whenever I hear financial information, I feel like you have to be making money, decent money, to participate in this. How wrong am I?
You don't. Well, for many of the books that are out there, that is the case. But I literally have a part of the book that says, what happens if you're broke? Because I have been broke. Right? Because people say broke. Broke is when you're like, ooh, I don't got no money. But, if you dig in your purse, you might find $1. If you look in your 401k, there's some money there. But broke is when there are no pennies in the cushion seats.
Right.
There's no 401k. There is nothing. I have been there when it's like
talk about that. I want to talk about how you were broke, and then you got yourself back together.
Yeah, and it wasn't fast. So the recession happened. I lost my job. Right before I lost my job, I had gotten my master's, which is $52,000. Right before that, I thought I was super grown, and I bought myself a condo in my mid-20s, and I had a mortgage of $220,000. Right? And then I said, I want to learn to invest. And so, of course, I chose a scam artist who I thought was a friend of mine to teach me. And it ended up me being $35,000 in credit card debt that I was liable for. So I went from like no debt to a mortgage, student loans, and credit card debt. And then I lost my job. So I said, oh. So I drained my savings to try to save my condo. Then I drained my 401k. Because I was still in my 20s, and so I had a few, maybe like $20,000, $30,000 in there to try to save my condo. I still ended up losing it to foreclosure, and so I was broke. There was no money hidden in the cushions of my car. There was nothing. There was no backup savings, and I just remember thinking, what do you do when you're at your like at the bottom? And so you have to I had to tell people. Because you are not meant to go through this thing by yourself. And for me, it was my best friend, Linda, who I was like, I needed to release the shame I was feeling for being broke. And two, I had to ask for help. Sometimes asking for help is getting on WIC, getting on assistance. Sometimes asking for help is seeing if your sister will let you move in and sleep on the couch. Sometimes asking for help is, are your parents still living? Are they close enough for you to go back to your middle school bed? That's what I did. Sometimes asking for help is to see if your best friend, will let you crash for a moment. Like there are moments, I know financial people will want me to give like, well, then, you add the 1 plus the 2 and then your budget. No, sometimes it looks like I need to get to a safe place where I'm not outside. And so that's was the first step. It's like, where can I safely lay my head for a period of time, And then I look for any assistance I could find. I was on unemployment. Thank God during the recession, they extended it. Usually unemployment is like 6 months to a year. Because it was a recession, a global recession, the federal government stepped in and extended unemployment. So I was like, I mean, unemployment was my saving grace. And I babysit everybody's baby. I said, you know, you want to go out this weekend. Let me watch the baby. You know? I tutored everybody's child. Like, I mean, I remember I told somebody I could tutor Spanish. I mean, with my high school students, I'm like, hola, me llamo. I mean, I was doing everything I could, because that's what it looks like when you're broke, you know? And then when I got just a little bit on my feet, I had to rent a room. I was in my 30s. This is not, 20-something-year-old Tiffany. No, I was renting a room like I just came home. So it was an uncomfortable experience. But when you're broke, it might look like that temporarily. The main thing to remember when you're broke is that if you keep at it, you won't stay there. But it was years. It was from age 29 to 33 that I was in that space. So it wasn't like, it was 6 months. No. And the only thing that kept me going is I just had to keep remembering, you won't always be here. You won't always be here. It was times when I cried because I was like, I had more money at 16 than I do at 30. Because at 16, I had a little job. You know, I was working at the library, so I had like $1,000 saved. I wish I could borrow that $1,000 from that 16-year-old Tiffany.
Check out Tiffany the Budgetnista on the Netflix documentary Get Smart with Money.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is the Espresso. Merry Christmas. If you're looking for movies during the holiday, of course there's The Color Purple.
Alice Walker came to visit us on set one day. Oh, my goodness. And that was a nerve-wracking day. And she wrapped her hand around me, laid her head on my shoulder, and sobbed.
Also in theaters, American Fiction, starring Jeffrey Wright, Erica Alexander, and Tracee Ellis Ross. It's about a struggling writer who, as a joke, switches up his whole writing style, and the book winds up a hit.
It's about being frustrated, but also finding yourself. It's about those silly moments where you couldn't have figured that you'd be in, but there you are.
Want to watch a movie from home? The sci-fi drama The Creator, starring John David Washington, is now on DVD.
It is the hardest thing I've ever done, you know, and I've had some challenging stunts. This is by far the hardest thing I've ever done. Getting strung up and dragged around and tossed around in a giant spacesuit that weighs a ton, and still trying to look heroic.
That's the Espresso. Cafe Mocha, Angelique, Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo. We're going to get serious here for a minute because you recently lost your husband.
Now, Tiffany, we want to give our condolences on the passing of your beautiful husband, Jarrell Smith. The question I have is that, you know, when I saw it and we talked and the condolences and the sincerity, there are many, especially Black women, that are going through grief. How were you able to handle it and still move on?
Well, one, you never move on. You know, I don't know that you can lose your partner or lose a child or lose a parent or sibling. You know, like I was thankful that I had already had an amazing Black therapist beforehand. You know, that she was awesome, Dr. Green. I was working with her already. So, and then I stopped for like a few months. And so when Jarrell passed away, you know, I reached out to her and I said, I don't think I'm going to make it. I need help. That is, if you don't take anything away from this interview, is you have to develop the ability to ask for help. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I need help. You know, was so helpful. And I still meet with her. In the beginning, for the first year and some change, we met weekly. And now we meet every other week. And she told me the other day, because his passing, he passed on November 15th, 2021. And so that was just a month ago. And I had a really hard time during that time. And I told her, I'm like, I'm having such a hard time. And she said, Tiffany, you know you don't get over this, right? Is that what you thought? You don't actually get over it. You learn to grow around grief. So if you are struggling with grief and you're waiting for like it to pass or you to move on, move forward, you're not. Like you will learn to live with it, but it's never going to go away. Not when you love somebody so much. And that is okay. And, you know, I'm grateful to you, Lonnie, for like saying his name out loud, because I think sometimes people are afraid to say people's name, but it's like, no, Jarrell was this amazing husband, like an amazing father, just so kind, so supportive. And I felt lost without him. He provided such a level of security and support for me that it's what Dr. Green said It's called the invisible force of what secure support looks like. It's like a good parent, when they raise a child, if that is a good parent, you will empower your child so much, the child feels like they're doing it on their own. That's what good support looks like. That you feel like you out here by yourself, and you're like, hey, look at me. And so that's what I thought. I thought, like, I was like, oh, I got a good husband, but like low key, I'm lit. So I'm gonna be lit either way, because I got this. I'm strong, I'm independent, but I'm also married. No, I didn't realize how much support that he gave me, that it was so good that I really thought I was out here by myself. Like, and it wasn't until it was gone that I realized how much I came to depend on him and lean on him. And I knew with him, I could never hit the ground because he was covering it for me. And so I had to relearn, how do I navigate out here without that safety net of support that he provided? And so it's been really hard for me to navigate. The one thing I will say is that it really gave me a spotlight on how important the work I do in this financial education space, because I am fortunate I get to just miss Jarrell, the person. Because we did what we were supposed to do financially, I didn't lose my husband and my house. Like so many people, you know what I mean? Like, it really put a barrier on my back. Like, Tiffany, this is why you do the work, because I got to focus on grief. I took almost a year away from work. People can't do that. How will you eat? Where will you sleep? I was able to do that because of the choices we made when he was here.
You've seen her in the Netflix documentary, Get Smart with Money. We're talking to Tiffany the Budgetnista, who has a new book out, a workbook for us to get our money straight. Hey, Tiffany.
So, Tiffany, what if the top, because it's the new year is coming. We always want to know, what are the top things that we need to be working on for our budget?
So top things is, I know it sounds like corny, the goal, like, because it's new year, new me, I'm going to set some New Year's resolutions. And but I will say that start the year off with what I like to call dreamscaping. So this is goal setting before setting goals. I want you to just imagine how you'd like your life to go in general. Like, I'd like to have more vacation time, more time with the kids. I'd like to travel more, whatever that is. Like, you get to dream big in the goal setting or the dreamscaping phase. So start the year off with that. And then you ask yourself, what are some steps I can take this year to work toward that bigger dream that I have for myself? So because you're not going to accomplish it in 1 year, but if you say, I'd like to travel more, and you can imagine going Bali and going to Egypt and India and all these places. Okay, so that's going to probably require some savings, but also some planning. So you might say to yourself, well, this is the year that I'm going to set aside enough money, for at least one trip. Or, this is the year I'm going to, I'm really responsible with my credit card and I pay it off every month in full, but it doesn't have rewards. So this is the year I'm going to switch to rewards credit card. Or, this is the year I'm going to join a Black girl travel group so I can learn all the tips and tricks, because nothing happens accidentally. If you're wanting a thing, this big dream, then you have to start to piece it together with these are the steps to get that thing done. I'm always asking myself, Tiffany, what's the big goal? And I will daydream like, oh, I would really love to only work, 3 months out of the year. So what do I need to do now? I really love, to be able to spend more time with my nieces and nephews. So what do I need to do now? And so that's how you start off the year. And then you start to ask yourself, once you figure out the goals you want to hit for the year based upon your big dream, how do your finances play a role in that? Does it require savings? Does it require you making more money? Does it require you spending less money? The key is that you match your money to your life, not your life to your money. Because if I ask people, what is your goal? I want to make $1 million. Your life might only cost you $60,000 a year. And so you're going to overshoot your shot, exhaust yourself to try to make $1 million when what you really wanted would have cost you 60. And had you identified the life you wanted and matched the money to it, you wouldn't have to work as hard.
I am so happy for you. And thank you for taking some time to talk to us on Cafe Mocha.
No, thank you. Can I share where people can get the book if they like a copy?
Definitely.
So I'm the Budgetnista on all the social platforms. But if you like a copy of my new book, It is available where all books are sold, or you can go to madewholeworkbook.com.
madewholeworkbook.com. It's a lovely book. Get it, y'all. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
The team at Cafe Mocha wish you and your family a safe and Merry Christmas. If you want the full interview, it's on our podcast at Mocha Podcast Network or by streaming wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, you can find us on all platforms at Cafe Mocha Radio. Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.
Hi, this is Chuck Harmony from We Sound Crazy with your Black Music Month Spotlight. Missy Elliott is a pioneering American songwriter, rapper, singer, and producer. She emerged in the 1990s as part of the R&B girl group Sister and gained widespread recognition for her innovative approach to performance and music production.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly.
In 2020, Billboard ranked her at number 5 on their list of the 100 greatest music video artists of all time. And in 2023, Elliott became the first female rapper inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Being the first to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame means so much to me because I never thought that in a million years, like that's probably the top tier of making it as an artist.
Hey, it's Angelique here. Walt Disney World Resort is bringing you the culture with music, art, and food. Imagine savoring Princess and the Frog's decadent bread pudding and berry beignets at Disney's Port Orleans Resort. Take in Disney's Animal Kingdom Park's Circle of Life Festival, celebrating the Lion King and more. Walt Disney World Resort is a place where you can come and celebrate with your family, and you can do it soulfully. Bring yourself to Walt Disney World Resort and celebrate the culture.